Each campaign is said to have a level of 1 if it is a staid campaign. Staid is regular, boring, normal, non-intense. Fine. And a level of 2 if it is a vigorous campaign, opposite of staid. We don't need to know the meanings. How do we care? Staid and vigorous. Campaigns can be of two types. They can either focus on issues or attacking the other candidate. So intensity is staid and vigorous. Style is issues and other candidates. Interesting. If Amia and Ramya both run campaigns focusing on issues, then the percentage of students voting in the election will be 20 times the sum of the levels of campaigning of the two students. For example, if Amia and Ramya both run vigorous campaigns, then it will be 20 times 2 plus 2 percentage, 20 times 4, 80% turnout will be there. Very interesting. If both run campaigns focusing on issues. And if so, they get 1 if it is staid, 2 if it is vigorous. Both are staid, additional sum will be 2. If one is staid, other is vigorous, sum will be 3. Both are vigorous, sum will be 4. So the voter turnout, if they both run on issues, the voter turnout would be either 40%, 60% or 80%. Lovely. I can understand that vigorous campaign, more people are energized to vote. Staid campaign, people are like, to me, you do it, I'm not turning up for the vote. Among voting students, the percentage of votes for each candidate will be proportional to the levels of their campaigns. For example, if Amia runs a staid campaign, while Ramya runs a vigorous campaign, Amia will remain 1/3 and Ramya will get 2/3. So it's going to be both are staid, half and half, both are vigorous, half and half. If one is staid, other is vigorous, 1/3, 2/3 or 2/3, 1/3. Who is doing the more vigorous versus staid, they'll get 2/3, staid will get 1/3. The above mentioned percentages change as follows if at least one of them runs a campaign attacking their opponent. So far, we have discussed all of these for issue-based campaigns. So now, one of them is attacking the other component. If Amia runs a campaign attacking Ramya and Ramya runs a campaign focusing on issues, so Amia is the bad person, Ramya is the good one. Growth and prosperity and development are the keys. I don't want to poke the eyes of my opponent. Right? So I'm hoping that this one is more charitable to Ramya, because she's the one focusing on issues. Right? So then 10% of the students who would have otherwise voted for Amia will vote for Ramya, good. And another 10% would have otherwise voted for Amia will not vote at all. So whatever Amia gets, 20% will disappear. Her count will be down by 20%, not just that. 10% will go to Ramya, 10% will say, look, if you're attacking the candidate, I'm not turning up. I like that, good. If Ramya runs a campaign attacking Amia and Amia runs a campaign focusing on issues, the other way around, then 20% of the students who would have otherwise voted for Ramya will vote for Ramya. Ramya's fan base is even more particular. You say something about the other person, then I'll vote for them. I'm not even thinking about it. And 20%. And another 5% would have otherwise voted for Ramya, will not vote at all. 5% are still pissed, but charitable, saying, look, I won't vote. 20% are so peeved, they'll go and vote for the other person. Right? When we read till here, this should be an idea about how we capture this data. Right? There are two matrix types of capturing. Right? So, staid vigorous for Amia and Ramya. Issues, personal attack, Ramya and Amia. That's why I'm going to capture this data. Right? Very important. Right? If both run campaigns attacking each other, then 10% of the students would have otherwise voted for them, and they run campaigns focusing on issues will not vote at all. There's no shift from one to the other, but they're turned off by this campaigning. They're saying, look, we won't turn up at all. It's not how it happens in real life. In real life, you get energized if one person is attacking the other. Right? So there's higher turnout. If you say, look, I will kill this guy, that guy is bad, more people come to listen, more people land blows, more people turn up to vote. And they're living in those times. Unfortunate, but yeah, that's a reality. Anyway, enough cynicism. Let's go ahead and do this. Right? So quite simply, Ramya and Amia, staid and vigorous. If both are staid, turnout will be 40%. If both are vigorous, it is 80%. 1 plus 1 into 20%. 2 plus 2 into 20%. 1 plus 2 or 2 plus 1 into 20%. This is for voter turnout. If both of them focus on issues, they're good candidates running either staid or vigorous campaign. What do I mean by good candidate? Not trash talking the other. Now comes the other thing. And so, if staid and vigorous vote share, right? This will be half and half. This will be half and half. This one, Ramya is more vigorous. So, Amya and Ramya will be 1/3, 2/3. Here, Amya is more vigorous. Amya and Ramya will be 2/3, 1/3. Right? Lovely. Now, attack and issues. If Amya is attacking and Ramya is focusing on issues, then it is 10% and 10%. 10% from Amya will go to Ramya and 10% from Amya will say, look, I am not even voting. If Ramya is being the attacking person and Amya is focusing on issues, 20% from Ramya will go to Amya and 5% will say, look, I am not even voting. If both are attacking, then both lose 10% votes. %10 of Amya's base will go towards no vote. 10% of Ramya's base will go towards no vote. 10% of the students who would have otherwise voted for them, had they run campaign focusing on issues, will not vote at all. What happens here? This is regular, no shift. All our original predictions were based on both of them campaigning on issues. Lovely. Now we have got two tables. We're not solving for anything here. We know the framework and then we go to question by question attacking. Nothing more than that. If both of them run staid campaigns, attacking the other, staid campaigns, so vigorousness is, the intensity is 1 and 1, turnout will be, default turnout will be 40%, and attacking the other, both are attacking, so 10%, 10% votes will go down, each of them should have got 20%, but 10% of the voters won't turn up, 18%, 18%, what percentage of students voted? 36%. Staid campaigns, both are staid, so that's the base, both are attacking the other. So from this 40%, each of them getting 20%, 20%, down 10%, down 10%, 18%, 18%, adding up to 36%. Voter turnout is only 36%. Lovely. What are the minimum percentage of students who will vote in this election? Minimum percentage to start with. It cannot be starting with this because the swings are small, 10%, 20%. I'm already sensing that it should be this. Both should run staid campaigns. From 60%, even if Ramya has 40% share and 20% of them go and don't vote, another 5% don't vote, you'll go down, but now you're not going to go below 40%. Even doing this attack and issues and attack, it won't go down that sharply. So these are all rolled out. For having the least turnout, both should have run staid campaigns. Now both running staid campaigns, 40%, 10% go, 10% go, this will be 36%, we've already seen this. This is going to be bigger than that, that's 20% disappears, here 25% disappears. Here Amya would have got 20%, Ramya in her 20%, sorry, 20% goes to, okay, Amya and Ramya. 20% of Ramya is 20% of 20%, which is 4%. So Amya will become 24. Whereas Ramya will lose that 4 plus 1 will be 15. Or this will be 39% turnout. And 25% of her votes Ramya loses. But these 25% of her vote don't disappear. A big chunk of them go to Amya. So Amya shall be 24, Ramya shall be 15, adding up to 39% in this scenario. This is only 36. That is the worst case scenario as far as turnout is concerned. Least turnout percentage is 36%. If Amya runs a campaign focusing on issues, then what is the maximum percentage of votes she can get? Amya focuses on issues. If Ramya focuses on attack, is when Amya can get more share because she'll get Ramya's part also. We want Amya to get the maximum percentage of votes she can get. That means I'm straight away going for both running vigorous campaigns. So Amya will get 40%, Ramya would have got 40%. And then this change has to apply. 20% of this 40%, which is 1/5, 8%, will go here. This will become 48%. This will become 30%. 78% totally. And 48% for Ramya. Runs a campaign focusing on issues, runs a vigorous campaign, and Ramya shifts to attack, then she can get 48% of the votes. That's the maximum. If Ramya runs a campaign attacking Ramya, then what is the minimum percentage of votes that she is guaranteed to get? Ramya attacks. So this is out. Minimum percentage that she is guaranteed to get, the minimum percentage. So I have to go for this. This is the part that you're choosing for. Minimum, that means you're going for state turnout on both sides. So to default setting is 20%, 20%, but in her 20%, she loses 25%. Or Ramya's minimum is 15%. What is the maximum possible voting margin with which one of the candidates can win? Maximum percent voting margin. These two, their original default is half and half. Then the margin is going to be only based on this swing. Where it's 2/3, 1/3. If I want the margins to be high, then I'll have to ignore this. I have to go for this or this. 2/3, 1/3. One of the candidates gets 40%, other gets 20% of the overall votes. Now I know already that if both of them, they don't focus on issues, both of them don't attack. Because in both these cases, either the share remains the same or both of them lose their vote share but doesn't go to the other person. This is where it gets most interesting, and I like this because the swing from one to the other is 20%. So there it is only 10%. So I would go for a setting where Amia originally gets 40, Amia gets 40%, Ramya gets 20%. From this, I'll say Ramya 4% goes from here to here, taking this to 44. This will go to 16, plus another 1% goes, this will go to 15%. 44% minus 15%, that's going to be my wildest swing. 44 minus 15 is 29. If we do this with a 20-40, Amia being 20 and Ramya being 40, 10% of A will go there, it will become 42. 10% will disappear, this will become 16. 42 minus 16 is only 26. Here this is 29%, because a 20% swing is significant. That's going to play a role. So the maximum possible voting margin is 29%. The table given below shows the amount in grams of carbohydrate, protein, fat and all other nutrients per 100 grams of nutrients in 7 food grains. So C1, C2, M1, M2, M3, P1, P2. These are the food grains, some code name given. Carbohydrate, protein, fat and other nutrients. So 7 items, 4 different things are being mentioned. The first column shows the food grain category and the second column is its code name. That is, in cereal there are 2, in millets there are 3, in pseudo cereal there are 2. I don't know what pseudo cereal means. Hey, we don't care. Pseudo cereal is pseudo cereal. Lovely. So I get a sense of how the data is presented and we have some missing values. Chances are the missing values are what we need to find. We fill everything up and then we answer a bunch of questions. There going to be some constraints for finding these missing values. Each of these is for 100 grams. Each of these is given in grams for an overall of 100 grams. That is, if I add these 4, that should be 100. If I add these 4, that should add up to 100. For 100 grams of P1, how many carbohydrates, how many grams of carbohydrates, how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat, how many grams of other nutrients are present. Lovely. Do this. Both the pseudo cereals had higher amounts of carbohydrate as well as higher amounts of protein than any millet. Higher carbs, higher protein than millet. Okay. Both the cereals had higher amounts of carbohydrate than any pseudo cereal. Okay. All the missing values of carbohydrate amounts for all the food grains are non-zero multiples of 5. This one's very powerful because it basically tells us that carbohydrates is 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, something like that. All the missing values of protein, fat and other nutrients for all the food grains are non-zero multiples of 4. Nice. Wherever it is missing, it's non-zero multiples of 4. Wherever it is missing, it's non-zero multiple of 5. Nothing is 0. Whatever is missing, none of that is 0. Some are multiples of 4, some are multiples of 5. This should make life very interesting. P1 contained double the amount of protein that M3 contains. Super. I'm going to capture this data. All the missing values of proteins and other nutrients for all food grains are non-zero multiples of 4. So this is a multiple of 4. 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 All of that. And we know P1 contained double the amount of protein that M3 contains. M3 protein is 4P. P1 should be 8P. So multiple of 8 for good measure. Nice, brilliant. My gut feel is if we can carve open one of these, the others should fall in place. 66 plus 10 is 76. There's a multiple of 8, non-zero multiple of 8, and a multiple of 4. So there's a multiple of 8, the remaining will be a multiple of 4. These two add up to 24. This can be 16 or 24. It can be 8, 16 or 24. It cannot be 24. This will become 0. If it is 8, this is 16. This is 16, this is 8. We keep making inferences like this. We can simplify life. I filled all of this in, and we know that this can be attacked really well. P2 likewise opens up some things. 14 plus 8 is 22 plus a multiple of 4. This is a multiple of 5. And we know pseudo cereal had higher amounts of carbohydrate as well as higher amounts of protein than any millet. There's a 56 and a 62. This is more than 62. These two add up to 22. This is more than 62. It's a multiple of 5. These three are even numbers, should be an even multiple of 5. So it should be 70 or 80. Right? These two add up to 22. This is a 22 plus 80 is 102. Not possible. This should be 70 plus 22, 92 plus 800. We make each inference, we should be able to fill a bunch of data sets like this. And so this is very openable. I think if you look at this, these two numbers, because we know that both the cereals had higher amount of carbohydrate than any pseudo cereal. Pseudo cereal is 66. So this is more than 66. This is more than 66. These two add up to 13. This is more than 66. This is an even number. It should be an odd number. But the total is 100. These two add up to 12. This is an even number. It should be an even number. Even multiple of 5. Odd multiple of 5. More than 66, such that the rest of the numbers pan out. That will be our next part that we can attack. This is more than 62. This has to be even. Why should this be even? Even, adding up to 100, this should be even. This has got to be odd. Why odd? Odd, even. Even, odd, even. These three add up to an odd number. Add an odd number to it to get to 100. So this is 75, 85, 95, something like that. It cannot be 95, there's 13 remaining. It can be 75 or 85. If I put 75 plus 13, that is 88. Remaining would be 12. This is 85. 85 plus 13 is 98. Remaining is 2. That's not possible. And or this has to be 75. Likewise here, so even multiple should be 70, 80 or 90. It cannot be 90. 90 plus 12 is 102. 70 or 80. We put this as 70 plus 12, 82. There's nothing remaining here to be an even multiple of 2, as it should be a multiple of 4. That's not possible. So 70 doesn't work. 80 will work. 80 plus 12, 92. This is 8. 75 plus 13, 88. This is 12. 14 plus 8, 22. Plus 70, 92. This works. Make this 70. That means this is 8. Bunch of data points get filled in. Lovely. So the first one is complete. C1 is complete. C2 is complete. M1 is remaining. M2 is remaining. M3 I think we can attack. P1 we can attack. And so let's see which one falls in place. M2. And so this is 16 plus 7 is 23 plus a multiple of 4. So this has to be an odd number. We know that both the pseudo cereals had higher amounts of carbohydrate as well as higher amount of protein than any millet. Both the cereals had higher amounts of carbohydrate than any pseudo cereal. So higher amounts of protein than any millet. So millet protein should be less than 14. This number should be less than 14. You may be able to find this. Right now we know it's less than 14. 7 plus 16 is 23. So multiple of 4. 4, 8 or 12. 23 plus 4 is 27. Remaining is not a multiple of 5. 23 plus 8 is 31. 23 plus 12 is 35. Brilliant. So this will be the remaining 65. This will be 12. This is in the bag. Here this is still open. So we'll come to this later on. Let's attack P1 next, because if we get this, we can get this. And the pseudo cereals had higher amounts of carbohydrates as well as higher amount of proteins than any millet. So this number is greater than 12. So this is either 16 or 24. 66 plus 10 is 76. 76 plus 24 will become 100. We know that each of these are non-zero multiples of 4. So this one cannot be 0. This is 16, this is 8. This is 16, this is 8. 56 plus 8, 64 plus 12, 76. This is 20. Nicely done. Let's fill this in. So C1 completely done, C2 completely done, M1 remains, M2 is done, M3 is done, P1 is done, P2 is done. These two add up to 72. 4M plus 4R is 28. There isn't much to do with other. 4M plus 4R is 28. We know that much. But all our constraints are with carbs and proteins. Greater than this, less than that, less than pseudo cereal, higher than carbohydrate, and cereals are pseudo cereals had higher carbohydrates as well as higher protein than millet. Cereals had higher amount of carbohydrate than any pseudo cereal, but our variables and constraints are with carbs and protein across these three. Nothing much to do with fats and others, except that there's a multiples of 4. That doesn't unlock this. Maybe we won't need to unlock it. Maybe we'll have something else in the questions. Maybe we won't have to care about it. Coming to this point, I'm very happy to attack the questions. How many food grains had a higher amount of carbohydrate per 100 grams of nutrient than M1? M1 is 62. This is higher, this is higher, this is higher, this is higher, this is higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many grams of protein were there in 100 grams of M2? 100 grams of M2 protein is 12 grams. How many grams of other nutrients were there in 100 grams of M3? M3 other nutrients is 24. What is the median of the number of grams of protein in 100 grams of nutrients among these food grains? The smallest is 8, 8. Then there is a 10, then 12, 12, 14, 16. Median is 12. 12 is our median. Done. Median is a middle term when we arrange in order. That is 12. Lovely, nice juicy set. Let's go to the next one.